Hello and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, India's only daily television platform for small businesses. Over the past 7 years, we've understood what matters most to you, the entrepreneur. And in year 8, we're taking head-on 2 of your most pressing concerns, that of funding and mentoring. I'm Sananda Jayasseelan. On the show tonight, we're bringing you highlights of a panel discussion that we did in Chennai, talking about health tech startups creating wealth and what are some of those real-life examples that we're seeing of such startups creating wealth. Listen to what some of the experts on our panel that night had to say. Let me come to two of our entrepreneurs here on the panel tonight and talk about what your business does. If you could give our audience a brief sense of what both your businesses do and where really the inspiration for that perhaps came about. And let me maybe come to you first, Vijay.
This is my long-term passion about how healthcare can be taken beyond the four walls of a hospital. Everyone talks about healthcare because healthcare has got a lot of problems. One of the key problems is like this. Today, irrespective of caste and creed or whether rich or poor, whether you are in urban or rural, the services are able to reach you at your home where you are. A lot of services are able to you are able to pull them to your place, where you have the ability to go out. But when it really comes for healthcare, the problem is you cannot even get out of your bed. What happens? You call anyone, they'll say, you come. Okay, so that's the paradoxical situation. But then the situation is changing so much that people need this kind of a support.
So you're solving, to some extent, I would say, the logistical really challenges that come, that are associated with this market. This question is open to everyone on the panel, but maybe I could come to you first, sir, and Dr. Kushali, I'd ask you to respond as well. The reports, as far as the healthcare market in the country is concerned, is a massive, massive opportunity. Reports suggesting $370 billion, that's by 2022. Fantastic CAGR figures that we're looking at. How much of that is an addressable market for health tech, perhaps? Is that is that a size of the opportunity that's quantifiable as we speak? This is open to everyone on the panel.
See a large opportunity in healthcare for investment, and there are investment flows happening. But only difference between the other investments and healthcare investment is gestation period is too long. The opportunity which has been mentioned, that other than health, I don't think any human being is worried about anything else.
If you can talk about what are the biggest opportunities and challenges for entrepreneurs who are in the health tech space in India, and then we'll talk specifically about the Chennai market.
Two key challenges is, one is very rarely the investors understand what we talk. They all wanted to compare it with another one, some app development and something like that. They don't really understand. And in medtech, the solution need to be comprehensive. It's not, okay, I do this much, then onwards you take care. It's not going to be possible. It needs not less than 8 years before anything can really take. This I am talking about global average. Someone can crack this, but that's okay. But the average global number is 8 years.
The flip side, what are the biggest opportunities?
The opportunities are huge because everything is a problem in healthcare. Everything is a problem. And I see there's a huge potential. We have, one of the worst country in the world in healthcare is in India. We are just better than Africa, number one. And we have huge population. That's the second opportunity. Third opportunity is really everyone needs a solution, because we are in a cusp of every problem is going to be the opportunity. Like whether you take NCD means non-communicable diseases like heart attack, all those things. That's again we are the number one. Even in communicable diseases, we are number one. What else you need? Everything is there.
Absolutely.
So when we talk about healthcare, the first thing which comes to our mind is medicines. When I think about healthcare, I think it in a different way. So I feel healthcare in the sense that we understand, I call it as sick care. Because you take medicines after you fall sick. So healthcare for me is eating healthy, exercising, taking care of your lifestyle, taking care of your health. It's more of preventive than curative. So I see that as a big opportunity because the problem is big. So number of people who suffer from diabetes in India is 7 crore. Number of people who suffer from pre-diabetes is another 7 to 8 crore people. Heart problem is another 8 to 10 crore population. BP is another 10, 12 crore population. So these are diseases which are completely preventable diseases. These are diseases which should not have occurred, and medicine is not the right solution for them. So it's affecting almost 30-35% of our population, and there is a cure. That cure lies in our kitchen, in the right healthy eating. So I feel the opportunity is huge. The challenge is, how do you make people stick to discipline, avoid all kind of junk food, and if we can figure out a solution to that, I think so it's a mammoth opportunity.
Okay. Would you also say that perhaps the biggest challenge for entrepreneurs who are in the kind of industry and in the kind of businesses that you are is the lack of information, is the lack of awareness? How big of a challenge is that, and how perhaps have you as a company then gone about addressing that?
Yeah. So that I think so is the biggest challenge. So in fact, we started as a fitness club for women around 10, 11 years back. So common perception is between diet and exercise is more important. When it comes to losing weight, fighting lifestyle diseases, it's exercise. You want to lose weight, go to gym. And that's what led me to open a chain of fitness clubs. That costed me a few crore rupees, 5 years of my experience to learn one simple line, that it's 80% nutrition, 20% exercise. Now this simple information is also not known to majority of population. So apart from this, the information that we get is actually from all the food companies, from all the commercial companies. For example, cornflakes is supposed to be a healthy food, and we should replace our paratha and chapatis with cornflakes. Cornflakes actually has more sugar than sugar itself. Its glycemic index is higher than that of sugar.
I want to come back to talk about one point that Vijay raised, which was, he said, investors perhaps don't understand the nature of the beast when it comes to this industry. We have an investor here on the panel. While you do look at a lot of industries, medtech is something that you also do look at. Do you think that's maybe a fair sort of criticism? How would you want to respond to that?
Fortunately, I worked with Vijay, and I start understanding the healthcare, how it has to be implemented. I divide this issue into, why do we talk about startups in healthcare is because of two things. One is communication speed has much become faster, and your processing speed of computers are much more faster. How does it help? One is like, even it helps to find out the data, assessment of the health at any point, from anywhere to anywhere, we will be able to get the data in place. That is the first thing probably which will help us to find out what is happening across with the people. That is assessment. That is what the communication will help. The technology will help us to get the assessment done. The second is connecting back to the patient, even through a communication channel, is also will become faster. That is one of the opportunity. Second, the processing speed. India has an enormous data. I do not know how many of you, India is the only country which has India stack. I doubt anybody have read about that, but India stack is one thing which will provide enormous data about the people in India, and that is a bigger opportunity for somebody who wanted to do deep tech in terms of using technology to find out how this data can be utilized for their provisioning of services. The third one is, because of the processing speed and what we speak about IoT and all that stuff, this is increasing the ability for them to assess real time. So these are the larger opportunities which comes along with the health tech.
Okay, Dr. Kushali, do you get a lot of companies that you see at Wikiflow which are saying, difficult to raise funding, investors perhaps don't understand the nature of this industry?
This industry is very, very wide. Yeah. So it is an ocean. It is an ocean, and there is a lot to be done in it. But Wikiflow has been liaising with a lot of people to raise funds. But apart from that, what is a very important aspect which Wikiflow has recognized and has been doing work with is, apart from the raising funds, in terms of licensing, is because if you look at India as a country, what Mr. Vishnu has spoken about, the non-communicable diseases in terms of weight and the lifestyle. One important aspect is India is also a huge below poverty line country. So when we talk of malnutrition, he is handling the upper aspect of the abnormal nutrition, that is the overnutrition, whereas there's a whole range of people in the undernutrition aspect. Wikiflow has been working to identify this and liaison people to be able to address this aspect. This is one aspect. The other aspect I would like to bring about is, in terms of raising funds, etc., it's only been doing through liaising with larger companies. But bringing the beneficiaries to the larger companies is something that Wikiflow has been constantly doing.
Time for a quick break. On the other side, we will continue bringing you highlights of that panel discussion from Chennai. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. You're with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow. Tonight, we're bringing you highlights of a panel discussion that we did as part of a 20-city roadshow in Chennai, talking about health tech startups and how they're creating wealth for you, the entrepreneur. Is technology then perhaps the only solution in a country like India to reach unserved areas? And that's a model that you look at. You work very closely with doctors. And what can you talk about the cost that is involved when it comes to using technology for remote areas, tier 3, tier 4 hospitals, institutions, doctors, etc.?
Actually, I feel, maybe because I'm a technocrat, I feel like that, but there's no other alternate. We don't have an alternate, because you read any number of or any amount of reports, first two lines are always constant. We need to double the number of doctors in the country, and we need to double the number of beds, patient beds in the country. And both are impossible. And you read the whole report, nowhere the answer will be there, or the answer will be misleading. Because both are impossible. Then what are we talking about? Why do we have so many reports? The real thing is, because to get the number of doctors, whatever they say, we need another 30 years with the amount of number of doctors we produce here. And each bed costs around 1 crore to 4 crore for each hospital bed to build. And we need around 1 million beds. It's unimaginable numbers. What is the only solution? The existing conventional method can never work. And my idea is to tell that empower the patient. They can solve half of their problem or even much more than that by themselves. Why do they need to come to hospital? And convert each house beds as a hospital beds as much as possible. They don't have to come again and get readmitted. For simple ailments, some solutions they can do themselves, but still under the complete guidance of an able, skilled, capable specialist or someone who is remotely available for them.
To add one thing on this, that you're right about the doctors, number of doctors, and doctors are tired at the end of the day. Being a doctor, I'll tell you this. But by the end of the day, the doctors are tired. And there is also a discrepancy in how much tech a doctor knows. It is a huge challenge for a doctor who's finished seeing, at least in a private practice, 50 to 70 patients or even 100 patients, and then to go back and figure out tech. So this is a very important licensing that needs to be done, is a very strong area in terms of, like you have your data entry people who will type in your data, who will transcript your data, but ultimately a doctor's needed to check and see if the data is right. If not, your whole tech falls flat. Now, is there a licensing way to do this? Is a big challenge for the medical profession itself, number one. Second thing is, again, taking it to the mass, taking it on the mass. one fantastic aspect is the telemedicine that has come up. So telemedicine has helped, and especially in terms of when during the epidemics, the Chennai floods, 2015 Chennai floods, to a great extent, telemedicine was helpful in terms of we would identify locations, identify the ward secretaries, and then guide the processes, guide ultrasounds through that. Labs would organize the pickups of samples. So this was a great looping which was done. But training of the doctors itself, I think they need to do another. Every doctor needs to be trained in tech.
Let's very quickly take some questions, in fact, from the audience at this point.
So my question to Dr. Subramaniam is something like this. A startup has a journey. He converts his idea to a product, and then product goes on to an acceleration phase. Once the acceleration is over, then it goes to a boom. So people, when they're trying to get boom, a lot of people come in and take his hand and go forward. A startup idea, a lot of people there to fund. But what is happening in between funding and the boom time? The acceleration phase. Don't you think that we don't have enough programs in India?
I think there are many funds. The angel funds comes during the acceleration phase. Seed fund comes for your idea. And once your idea is tested and you have customers which is repeatable, angel fund comes. I think you have not probably accessed the right kind of an audience. You have to be traveling towards some of the angel funds, which you have Chennai Angels, and you have many angel funds which is in Chennai itself, as well as in Tamil Nadu. Probably they can help you to do that.
When it comes to adaptability of technology in existing domains, when I compare fintech with health tech, the adaptability is very different. As a market, India is readily accepted fintech products, whereas that's not the case, I believe, with health tech. So how does entrepreneurs and investors see that changing? Are we looking at something which is going to change that thing, and how does companies tackle this adaptability problems when it comes to health tech?
See, fintech is a lot more simpler than health tech. The simple reason is there you are dealing with money. The data is reliable, and you know what you have. In health tech, you don't know what is there. You needs and different doctors are going to talk on the same data. A different interpretation is going to come. So, having said that, the reliability and the belief in the data which is going to reside in your place is the key thing which makes the entire adoption of technology into medtech becomes more and more tougher. That's where I was a while away, I was talking about bringing a right system in place, and empowering the patients is more important, which government is also working on it. So government is very keen on ensuring that the health records, it no more need to be a EMR, EHR where it resides in the hospital. Each patient need to own that. And when that happens, that's the first beginning of getting into that area. This is not India's problem, it's a global problem.
Sure, fair enough. Great points. Thank you to the audience for that question. Let me take closing comments on this panel. Kushali, you referenced skilling. This is one area where you need the specialist, but you also need the tech experience, and that's something you've been, saying a few times. How is that going to be solved? Most industries say that you don't have more than 20% of people who are coming out of colleges today with the skill sets that are required for the jobs that they do. What is it like in the health tech space specifically? What is going to bridge that gap?
A lot of effort from entrepreneurs. Please, entrepreneurs, look at CSR in the health space. So a lot of ground level skilling has to be done. A lot of skilling, you have to percolate it down. Basically, you have to go the reverse order. Right now, what we are is we study, the doctors come out. Or each one is in a bifurcated zone. Someone has done tech, they have gone into another area. So we need to do top to down and start working backwards, whereby you identify in the skilling. For example, in the health area, you need skill sets for people to interpret the data the doctor is doing, help the doctor with translating the data. So this skill set has to be trained right at the school, college level. The information of what is required for that area has to come from the top hospitals, from the doctors. It has to be told to the educationalist. And from there, the skilling has to start.
Sure. I want to give you the last word, Vijay. We've been talking quite a bit about data. But I also want to talk about one positive move that's perhaps happened for most entrepreneurs who are in the space, and that's the role of Ayushman Bharat and the opportunities that it presents for entrepreneurs in the medtech and the health tech space, insurers, etc. Have entrepreneurs like yourself started seeing the benefits of that coming down? What has been the biggest opportunity? What perhaps more would you like to see?
We need to double the number of doctors. Where do we find the alternate is Ayushman doctors, other doctors. Now all they need is the right tools and right connect. And connect can be given through technology. And for example, when you get into a hospital, what do you see? Big corporate hospital, there will be 2 walls in the reception. Have you noticed that? One wall will be list of doctors, the other wall will be all those facilities. They have got CT scanner, MRIs, theaters, these ICU, NICU, all those things. So what does it mean to us? It means that they are much more capable of handling this with these resources available. Now, can we bring these resources to an individual doctor who is remotely practicing? How do you do this? And if it can be virtually done, that's what is done. Now, whether he is an Ayush doctor or whether he is a allopathy doctor, it doesn't matter anything. But now a doctor gains a huge confidence for himself, knowing that there is going to be a panel of doctors who are a click away for the doctor. When we are talking about patient accessing a doctor need to access another specialist. That's another opportunity. And if we can enable Ayush doctor in this way, and if someone else can accept, that's another completely paradigm shift in the way we can roll out technology into this whole thing. That's another my idea.
All right. Thank you so much to the panelists. A huge round of applause to all 4 of you. Thank you for taking the time. All right, that's our show tonight. If you have any feedback for us or want to know where we're headed to next as part of this 20-city roadshow that we do here on the show, connecting directly face-to-face with you, the entrepreneur, then head on over to our website. All of those details coming up on your screens in just a moment. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.